Gary Austin. We have State Senator Gretchen Whitmer, the Democrat from East Lansing, on the other end of our line. Good morning to you.
Hi, MPS. How are you?
Good. You were Attorney General candidate or thinking about running at one time. Do you think that the terrorist from Times Square should be given life in prison for attempted murder then?
Well, my gut instinct is yes, but obviously I don't have all the facts, so I think it would be incumbent on any responsible lawyer to get all the facts before they made some sort of a judgment as to what sentence they sought and what the evidence they could produce is.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting to me because the bomb didn't go off. Now, obviously, nobody wants him running around in the streets because if he's hell-bent on causing terror in the United States or anywhere, we don't want him on the streets. But just interesting to me that you could get life in prison for a failed attempt. I'm not sure how it all crumbles. Gary Austin, I got to tell you. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I would say, you still have the motive. You still have, but for a faulty wiring, it would have been carried out. So you still have a lot of the requisite element of the crime, and that's what the prosecutor will have to weigh.
888-900-9966 is our number if you're interested in weighing in on this. 888-900-9966. So, Gary Austin, yesterday I'm driving through East Lansing. I guess it was about 5 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
And I come to the corner of a shaded street there near Hagedorn. And there's an SUV sitting on the corner with the door open, the driver's side door open, and nobody there. And I said, this is an unusual scene. It looks like someone's abandoned an SUV and the door's open. And since, I feel a special responsibility to be Superman around this town and help anybody that I can, right? I surveyed the scene carefully. And what did I see? But I saw a woman putting up, and I'm holding it up right here, in fact, on the camera, this yard sign in the lawn. Gretchen Whitmer, Democrat for State Senate, www.gretchenwhitmer.com. And there was a lady putting the sign in the ground. And I said, there's a lady helping Senator Whitmer. And she turned around, and Gary, it was Senator Whitmer herself putting in the yard sign.
That's great.
So I said, hey, should I vote for that lady? And I didn't realize, Senator, that you have to put up your own yard signs.
Well, I am lucky enough that I have a lot of volunteers, but yesterday I had a little bit of time on my hands, so I decided to jump in and help in the effort. And it's funny that you say that because I was driving later that yesterday afternoon, and I saw Mark Meadows, Representative Meadows, putting up his yard signs in East Lansing as well. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Things are tough when the candidates themselves are. Do you knock on the door and ask? Do you ever just knock on the door and ask, introduce yourself, and say, "Do you mind if I put a sign here?"
Oh, of course.
Really?
And a lot of people came to the door when I was there. These are people that have already asked for yard signs and have been great supporters over the years. So, they know me. And a few came out. A gentleman came running out and asked for 3 yard signs. And it's kind of fun because people will just come out and randomly start talking to you about, anything that's going on. And that's part of what makes this job so fun and interesting all the time.
It's definitely grassroots politics when you're putting out your own yard signs. But it was a nice day for it. The sun was shining. It was a little bit breezy. How much does one of these signs cost?
Oh, gosh. I bought, I want to say 700 of them, which is not a lot. I know a lot of people are putting up a lot more than that.
Wow.
I just wanted to be somewhat thrifty, but I don't know what they cost per sign off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice sign, red, white, and blue. It's got to hold up to the elements and all that sort of thing. And since you're talking about being thrifty, I wondered if you're actually going to be attending that $3,400 event that Rick Snyder invited you to, that fundraiser I read about. How did you get an invitation to a Rick Snyder fundraiser? He's the Republican candidate.
Rick's Chicks. I don't know. I got an invitation, and not only was I the recipient of one, but they sent it to my office, which is just really bad judgment. There's a lot of ethical implications there. I don't think, I'm very careful about not mixing any politics with the state office, and I thought that was extremely bad judgment. But I don't know, and I do not plan to go.
Okay, well, we got that straight. It's funny. There is a fundraiser coming up, though, at which you will be attending. As I understand it, it's October 6th, and it's a fundraiser for the Secretary of State candidate Jocelyn Benson. Attorney General Frank Kelly's going to be there. Governor Granholm, we understand. State Representative Joan Bauer, and lots of others. This race, as we understand it, is a dead heat between Jocelyn Benson, the Democratic candidate, and her Republican opponent, Ruth Johnson, who was Dick DeVos's running mate for governor last time around. They are, some people saying Jocelyn Benson is the next Jennifer Granholm. But I thought you were the next Jennifer Granholm.
Well, all I can say is that Jocelyn is head and shoulders more qualified to be the Secretary of State. And she, you can't help but be impressed when you talk to her. She's extremely brilliant, but is able to communicate on a level that everyone understands. She cares about making it easier for people to vote, but also ensuring the integrity of our voting system. And she will be a great Secretary of State. I believe she's going to pull that off. And I'm very excited about it because I think she's a wonderful candidate and will be a great public servant. She's
a Wayne State University law professor who has actually gone ahead and written a book about the job of Secretary of State across the state of Michigan. That's pretty impressive. And, I mean, she went all around the country looking at the job, so obviously she's paid a great deal of attention to it. And it's true, isn't it, that really the Secretary of State, of all the elected officials, probably has more touches with the general people, the general voters, the citizens of Michigan, than anybody else.
That's true. And, it's interesting, in our Constitution, when the governor and the lieutenant governor are out of town, the Secretary of State's the highest-ranking official in the state. And a lot of people don't realize that. They kind of take that position for granted, but it's an extremely important position. Richard Austin did a lot of great cutting-edge things when he was there for the many, many years that he served. And I think Jocelyn is of the same mind. It's time for cutting-edge technology and time for change, and I think she represents that and will do a great job.
If you were with Mayor Bernero, the Democratic candidate for governor, right before his debate performance this Sunday night, what would your advice be? What would your coaching be?
Well, I would say listen to the questions, and articulate your answer. Verge has the innate enthusiasm, and he's got the energy and the brains. There's no doubt about it. It's it's important to look statespersonly, and that people believe that you're going to have a smart, intellectual, thoughtful response to crises that governors face, and that would be it. I think Verge will do well. He's an excellent debater, as we know here in Lansing very well, and I think he will do well. I'm sorry that there are not more debates, but I'm glad that at least they're having one.
I hope that he uses this word again, biznobabble, that he used yesterday. He was talking about Rick Snyder's economic plan, and he said his plan is vague and full of biznobabble. Sometimes words like that stick. You know what I mean? Remember fuzzy math was one that was in a campaign, and biznobabble is what he says.
They do. It's a tough one to repeat. I'd be hard pressed to want to say it over and over again. But I think that it's it is. It shows you that there's this business speak, and they're not talking to the common person who really wants answers about what are you going to do about education and the structural deficit and jobs. These are the basic questions that people want answers to, not this highfalutin biznobabble.
Biznobabble.
It is hard to say.
Buzzwords and rhetoric and all the rest. Well, we'll see what happens, and I'll keep my eye out for you around East Lansing with the yard signs, and we'll see you soon. Senator Gretchen Whitmer, the super senator, you'll see her out there somewhere if you're in the Lansing area.